Hey, shalom, shalom. Want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachakodash. Want to say double honor to our apostles who are elders who rule well, which are of GMS. Blessings and salutations to you brothers are out here teaching and doing truth sincerity. Want to send another salute to the innumerable multitude, the wheat that amongst tares, and the women and children that follow this truth and sincerity as well. And I wanted to, this is going to be this is impromptu, so I'm not prepared. Just was discussing something amongst brothers, So yeah, man, I was just discussing the place of Peter, and it's something to be considered, And we all know there's certain facts. Peter was the first cornerstone or the first stone laid on the foundation of Yahweh Shai. Being that we are the church, we're the third temple. Okay, that's being rebuilt, and that first stone that was utilized to do that was Peter. Okay, and the foundation of the church is Yahweh Shai. All right, now if you can receive it, Peter is also, King David in the reincarnation, okay? As well as, many other variations, but the Lord does that, man, okay? Did it with Yahweh Shai as well, okay? But, Melchizedek, Solomon, King Solomon, okay? Things of that nature. But I wanted to reference that because Peter, King David, was a man after the Lord's own heart. All right, after the Lord's mind. He wanted to do the Lord's will, not his own will. Okay, that's a beautiful thing, and the Lord had a high regard for King David. Okay, and when you go to Yahweh Shai and the disciples, even though he had brothers that were disciples, his beloved was Peter, because that was the order. And it wasn't just a natural selection. The Lord chose Peter for a reason. The Most High chose Peter for a reason. Okay? And the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because Peter, the path of Peter, he always took chances and beliefs of what he was told and what he was into. Okay, we always go into cast your nets and follow me, but Peter was a follower of John the Baptist as well. Okay, but what I wanted to go into was like, too often in this truth you want to try to present yourself ready-made, and you have to learn that you win through failure. You get better, you get wiser, and you grow through failure. Now, you don't go into a situation to fail. Nobody does that. But you should never go into a situation until you say, until I got it 100% correct on how to solve this issue. Because that's not life. Life isn't guaranteed. And so, boxed in or boxed up, asymmetric, to where if I do this, this will happen. If I do that, this will happen. Okay? And there were instances, where Peter, seen Yahweh Shai walking on water. And he said, if that is thee, let me come to thee. Right? That's an establishment of faith, man. That means he really believed who Yahweh Shai was. There was an instance where when they was in the Garden of Gethsemane and Yahweh Shai was being taken, and Peter cut the ear of the soldier off in regards to protecting Yahweh Shai. Even though it wasn't the right thing to do, his spirit, was to protect his Lord, man. And he was trying his best to do it, the best way he knew to do it. Now, if it's not according to the will of the Lord, because that's why the Lord healed that man's ear, because that wasn't supposed to happen like that. So my point is, if you're so afraid to get it wrong, then you'll never learn how to get it right. You're not going to come pre-packaged knowing how to get it right. You know, we fuck up every day. We're in bodies of everlasting chains of darkness. And you got to be willing to fall forward, if that makes sense. You know, you got to be willing to fall forward instead of falling back on your ass, man, on your back pockets, because you're afraid. You know, Peter, even within, when Yahushua said he must be taken, Peter said, not so. You know, and if he would have never said that and tried to act like he understood, you know, he would have never understood what the Lord meant. If he would have never said, if that is me, Lord, let me come to me, he would have never experienced spiritual power. Okay? If he would have never went to cut that ear off, he would have never learned mercy. Okay? You know, the cock crowing. You know, he you know, like these things you learn in failure. Now, what I'm saying is that you don't want to create a situation to where, okay, I'm about to go in and fail. You know what I'm saying? You prepare yourself. What man buildeth a tower and don't count the costs. Okay? So we have to count the costs. We have to try to prepare ourselves as best as we possibly can in order to achieve the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. But within that aspect, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to abound in a fearless nature. Long as you're doing the will of the Heavenly Father, you're going to learn along the way. Nobody says you're going to succeed. You know, it says, name whoever trusted in the Lord was confounded. That's Satan. Satan with this goddamn motorcycle, man. That's why motherfuckers get knocked off that motherfucker. He's zooming through traffic, whatever you're going to call it, zooming through traffic. But back to what I was saying is that, you know, you got to take a chance in this truth, but not disrespectfully, not to be seen of man's eye service. Peter, every moment that he was doing it, another one that that was referenced was when the Lord said, who do you think I am? It was Peter that was the one that said, you're the son of the living Father. He really believed in who Yahushua was, man. You know what I'm saying? And Yahushua said, heaven and earth haven't revealed that to you, but the Most High from above. Right? Because there's no, sometimes there are times that the Spirit will rest on you to say something and to do something. And you'll say, normally, if I say something like this will happen or this will happen. And then somebody has said, and then everybody be like, oh man, you know, praise the Most High. And you'd be like, damn, I was thinking that. And you didn't pull the trigger. Peter pulled the trigger, man. Win or lose. And Peter lost at times, man. All those instances, for the most part, were losses. But the end of Peter was he was the cornerstone. The end of Peter was him getting, you know, spiritual power as well as the other disciples. All right. The end of Peter was him being a pillar. The end of Peter was when he was crucified. You know, he even got grew so immersed into where the situation he was in that he said, don't crucify me like Yahushua. Right? So there's glory in failure, man. Really, it's glory in doing things for the will of Yahushua without fear. Believing in what you're in and taking that chance. Understanding, like Peter was humble enough to believe what Yahushua said. That's a humility to believe that Yahushua is the anointed, that he's the Son of the Most High, that he'll give you the ability to walk on water. You're not saying, well, I don't got no boat, I don't got no tangible things. He said, man, if that was thee, let me come to thee. And that, man, it's beautiful, bro, to really believe in somebody like that, man. And it manifests in your process and your actions. So when you're doubting yourself, that's lack of faith. When you're doubting what the Lord said you can do, you know, like we could do all things through Yahushua who strengthens us, meaning if we're going according to his will, he's not going to leave us to total destruction. There's a win in this situation. It may not be what we want. All right. You may not, you know, Peter got into situations where he had to run off when that car crew. Ain't you the dude that was with him and all that? He had to like shake out, but he still stood stiffly and kept preaching and teaching. and he learned from those mistakes. Because sometimes, you know, the Lord, you'll say, Lord, protect me. And sometimes the Lord will put you through something to learn how to protect your damn self. And that's him protecting you. Everything ain't going to be how you want it to, where you say, Lord, protect me. Then angels storm down and nothing happens to you for the rest of your life. No, the Lord will put you through some losses so you can get a gain, you know. And the only way that you can do that is by stepping out on faith, okay? Believing in what you say you're in. We say we believe in His truth, then now we have to walk in faith and not by sight, you know. And Peter's a grand example. And sometimes you're wrong, you know, but it's not about wrong and right. That's what school taught people. It's about sincerity and in truth, because the Lord will correct you along the way, man. He will not leave us comfort. You say, you know, He'll send us a comforter, right? He will not leave us hanging to where we fuck up and trying to do what He wants us to do. They say, well, you got that wrong. I ain't fucking with you no more. That's not the case. That's what society has taught us. And Jake has to rewire their frame of mind and way of thinking and processing wrong and right and getting to a goal. You know, if you really want something, you're not going to be concerned with a loss. Okay? You're going to be focused on the accomplishment. You're going to get back up, you know, and keep fighting until you overcome. All right? He ain't say he that keep walking. He said he that overcometh shall receive everlasting life and salvation. Overcome what? Failures, obstacles, stumbling blocks, things that are in the way. You got to get past certain things, you know. And like I said, Peter's a prime example, man, because you can see the beginning and end result of his path from the failures to the achievements, all right, to this end result, and how he's respected at the end of the day, you know. So I just wanted to point that out, man, and hopefully this is edifying. With that being said, I'll give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Bachakodash. Double honor to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth, sincerity. Shalom.